This is a paid advertisement on behalf of Juno Industries. What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital, and we're here with Hunter Scharfe, CEO and co-founder of Juno Industries. Pleasure to have you on today, Hunter. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Yes, excited to be talking about, this company, very exciting sector. So, Hunter, for those just learning about Juno Industries, can you give us the high-level overview? What is Juno building, and what problem are you solving for Canada and its allies?
Yeah, so Juno's vision from the very beginning has been to build a innovation leader for the Canadian Armed Forces. In the industry terms, this is called a neo-prime contractor. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to be. We want to be a leading provider of modern battlefield technology to the country that myself and our team loves very much. And, the opportunity goes back to the fact that Canada and NATO allies have just massively increased their defense budgets over the last year. We're talking about an influx of capital to the tune of hundreds of billions, if not more, capital over the next 5 to 10 years. And, that's driven by a need for modernization. The conflict zones that we're seeing around the world are software defined, autonomous systems are on the front lines, and Canada's not prepared for that right now. In combination with the fact that our relationship with the United States has weakened, and we've woken up to the fact that we need to have the ability to defend ourselves. And Juno wants to be the call to action for that moment, building what our armed forces needs to keep our soldiers safe.
Very, very interesting. So you've built and backed high growth technology companies before. So what made you decide that now is the right time to build a defense company in Canada? But more specifically, what is Juno's strategy and how are you approaching this space to maximize value?
Yeah, I mean, the reason I was wanting to jump in as a CEO and co-founder of this company, number one always comes down to team. I co-founded this company with the former Defense Minister of Canada, Harjit Sajjan, who is an incredible partner, incredibly passionate about keeping our troops safe and building technology that matters. And the second reason is, we're a mission-driven company. This country needs this type of technology, and it needs companies like Juno to step up. There's a moment in time here where the defense industrial strategy of Canada that was announced a few months ago opens up an opportunity for new entrants and first movers in the Canadian defense space to really capture a lot of value. We used to spend 70% of our defense dollars outside of Canada, primarily to the US. And that is the major paradigm shift that we're experiencing. We're now spending 70% of our dollars inside of Canada. That's the commitment that the defense industrial strategy makes. And so for a country where we really have not invested a lot into defense over the last few decades, that typically, and in our case, means that there aren't that many defense companies in Canada. So you've got a massive influx of capital coming into the space from the government, what I would consider a generational growth cycle. And Canada needs companies to step up to this moment to deliver the technology that's needed against that budget.
Exactly. So, you've just touched on this, but we're clearly seeing a major shift globally towards defense spending, sovereignty, and national security. So why do you believe we're at an inflection point for defense technology, and why is this such a big opportunity for Canadian innovation?
Yeah, it's a few things. The first is, globally, we're experiencing a major shift. We live in a bipolar world now. The US is not the only superpower, and that trickles down all the way to what we're experiencing now in the budgets. The reality is the battlefield is modernized, as I said earlier, and countries like Canada, who have not invested in defense in a long time, are waking up to this ability and need for us to defend ourselves. So that call to action really kind of formulates the foundation of what makes this possible. And Juno's taken a different approach to many new entrants into the defense space. Learning from some of the more recently successful defense companies in the United States, we set out from a strategy perspective to build a neo-prime defense contractor. And what that means is innovation and technology is important, but it's part of a greater platform that allows us to win big contracts with the government. And our other two pillars on top of needs-based innovation is capital and government intelligence. When you look at the major companies, the major new entrants in the US, they're incredibly well capitalized, and they also really act as lobbying mechanisms as well towards Washington. And if you don't have that presence, that's like your sales organization. If you don't have that presence in Ottawa to communicate with your customer, the armed forces, but also the decision maker, which is procurement and the defense, National Defense Department, you can't win big contracts. That's the bottom line. So Juno's taken the more ambitious approach of saying, not only do we want to build technology that matters in the areas of autonomous systems, sensor capabilities, artificial intelligence software, but we really want to build a prime contractor on top of that, where the innovation that we build is highly attached to the needs of the armed forces in the near term. We're not building things that we don't see a near-term need for, and we're combining that hopefully with a balance sheet that will continue to strengthen and a team in Ottawa that really knows how to integrate and engage with the community of decision makers that exist.
So finally, looking ahead over the next 12 months, what are some of the major catalysts or milestones investors and stakeholders should be watching for as Juno continues to scale?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, scale comes from winning business. And so we're breaking down our business capabilities into our ability to engage with the procurement office, win contracts, non-dilutive funding from programs like Ideas and ISAID, building out our capabilities from a technology perspective. Our vision is to really access multi-domains of capability, having presence on sea, land, air over time. And, our product portfolio will expand over the next year and hopefully will include other domains of conflict. And that allows us to bid for bigger and more complex contracts. And, I think the ability to be one of those true thought leaders and first movers in this space is going to propel us into a position where we have the ability to win contracts in the near term.
Thank you, Hunter, for sharing your story. It's been a pleasure watching you grow at the helm of this ship. I've known you for many years, so congratulations on all your success so far. And best of luck. It's a very exciting industry and opportunity right now.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the time, Aaron. Talk to you soon.